war on terror has not ended, but it's getting intensified, it's expanding, it's changing, it's evolving. 10 incidents per day on the average we are reporting. Pakistan is the only one who's pushing all these international countries to look into this because if it will expand.
Kiran Bhatt is the digital editor at the Khorasan Diary. She's also an expert on counterterrorism affairs. She's joining us today from Islamabad. We'll talk to her about the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, its profile, its funding, where it's getting its support from, and we'll also ask her if the world has abandoned Pakistan in its fight against terror. So I was interviewing a former State Department officer yesterday, and my first question to her was, is the war on terror as we used to know it since 9/11, is it over? And I want to ask you the same question. Is the war on terror over?
I think this is a very, tactical question when it comes to the regional powers. And if we are focusing towards Afghanistan only, then I think that the attention has diverted to other major problems that right now all the world is facing. If we talk about Pakistan, so our center has also divided between Iran and Afghanistan and also India. So when it comes to Afghanistan, because we cover it on a daily basis, so we see that all the international, organizations or even media organization or NGOs, now it's not on their priority list like it used to be. So for the world, I think the war on terror is shifted its dimension from Afghanistan to other issues. But when we sit on the table and we talk with the diplomats and when we see United Nations reports, that are very alarming. And I think if we go by all of those reports, so the war on terror has not ended, but it's getting intensified, it's expanding, it's changing, it's evolving. I think evolving is the right word to use at this time because there are a lot of changes that are coming into.
And how would you characterize that evolution? How would you characterize that evolution considering the fact that, Pakistan is facing multi-tiered challenge? You talk about BLA, you talk about TTP. How much of that is a Pakistani problem or a regional problem?
I don't think that terrorism is only a Pakistani problem. No, that's not the case. The most affected nation is Pakistan right now. But if you see the latest reports coming out of Bangladesh and you see how the network terror is expanding there, that is very alarming. And their policymakers and their experts who cover militancy are writing on it,
But when you look at the Western countries, especially after 9/11, they used to discuss terrorism in their congressional briefings. There used to be a lot of focus on that. But as we see right now, a lot of the fighting is being done by Pakistan alone. You mentioned Bangladesh, but apart from Bangladesh, I wouldn't see many other countries, probably some countries in Africa. But other than that, probably Pakistan is the only country that's fighting this war, right?
Pakistan is fighting the war in larger provinces, in KP and Balochistan. We are really affected if we compare to the other Central Asian countries. But when you see the happenings on the border with Tajikistan, there are also incidents happening. When you see the incidents with China, the incidents are happening. So actually the point was this, that Pakistan is the only one who is fighting it on the ground in the larger area of our country and on the border. We share a big border with Afghanistan. The other countries, either it's China, either it's Tajikistan, or even Iran, the border skirmishes are happening, but their internal politics or the internal militancy is not that much intensified that we are facing in Pakistan. You have seen the last 2 days. I also wrote about this, that usually when I was in the news, so the Sunday used to be a very slow news day. But now only on the Sunday we reported 10 incidents in our country, like 10 incidents per day on the average we are reporting. So I think Pakistan is the most affected. Pakistan is only one who is fighting against it, and Pakistan is the only one who is pushing all these international countries to look into this, because if it will expand into multi-dimensional war, then it will be out of control of all these countries also, because they do not have any network, they do not share intelligence, they They are not looking towards it that, okay, this can create trouble for them in the next 5 years. So that's how Pakistan, is pushing everybody to look towards war on terror. It's not just Pakistan's war, but right now I think most of the countries are busy in other issues like the Iran and US wars, and Central Asian countries are looking towards how they have to deal with Afghanistan right now. Sometimes they are taking up the diplomatic, route, but sometimes when it comes to the border skirmishes, so their military is also getting involved in all of this.
So you mentioned the Slow News Day. Your organization, Khorasan Diary, is probably one of the most credible organizations in Pakistan when it comes to issues related to Afghanistan and terrorism. And you are the digital editor. I want to ask you about Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. It is an organization that has recently increased in activities in Pakistan. What is your assessment of TTP? Has it gotten stronger? Has it become a transnational group, or is it still focused on Pakistan?
It is focused on Pakistan, but you cannot deny that they have chapters in other countries also. Like I said, Bangladesh is also facing the problem. Some of Indian areas are also facing some problems when it comes to Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. We have seen Tehreek-e-Taliban Hindustan, and then we have seen Tehreek-e-Taliban Kashmir, that is like the Kashmir chapter. So they are expanding, they are evolving. Why? The answer is very straight. When US was in Afghanistan, so their operational or their funding level was very limited. But since the Taliban have come and they have taken control of Afghanistan, now they have more operational and ground, stronghold based in Afghanistan. So every other day, you will see that the instructions will come from there, and their foot soldier will execute everything, in Pakistan. We have seen Mufti Nurul Wali's statements that, we are in Pakistan and we are here, but those locations were not matching anywhere from our own country. So they will be giving statements, when Pakistan struck in Afghanistan. So they gave the statement that, okay, you are targeting Afghanistan, so we are going to target Pakistan. So it's all, connected with Afghan Taliban coming into power since 2021. And we have seen now, like in past almost 5 years, more than 100 small, large groups have joined Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan in KP and in Balochistan. So the network has, increased. They have evolved. They have now, latest equipment. They have, latest guns. They have thermal vision guns. Now even they have drone jammers also.
So you mentioned Bangladesh, you mentioned Central Asia, you mentioned Kashmir, and you're saying that they're increasing their foothold in these regions. How soon does this become a West's problem? Because currently it's a regional problem. Do you see Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan evolving into an organization that might become problematic for the West?
I think it's already becoming a problem, but not on that scale. Maybe the media is not covering it like that, but the last Congress hearing also, even Marco Rubio's hearing, they mentioned ISKP, they mentioned TTP, they mentioned Taliban. They also talked about the Taliban's governance, that how they are not letting the girls, education. They are not letting their girls to go get education after the 8th standard. They all discussed it, and like it was live also, but it's not being portrayed on the media like it used to be when the US was there. So the lens of the viewer has also shifted with the media preferences. And most of the, after now almost 5 years, the US-Iran war started. So all that attention was shifted to that war because it was also a huge incident that happened. So in last 8 months, since March, I don't think that Afghanistan came into news like that, like it should have been. But I think sooner or later, it will get more intense for the West also. And they have to look into this. When it comes to ISKP, they are more, active. But when it comes to TTP, so they think, okay, this is between Pakistan and Afghanistan. It's very regional. But now when it's expanding its, chapters, so it is becoming a problem for other Central Asian countries also.
So you mentioned 2021's US withdrawal, and since then you think that the Afghan Taliban have been one way or the other supporting Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, and that has allowed them to have a resurgence. How is TTP financing its operations, and what are the strategies for this funding?
Okay, so very this is a very technical question when it comes to TTP. We have to go through a full document, like a full document of how they work, you know. So there are many different ways. There is extortion money involved, or you don't even know that who you are funding. If you are giving charity, so it also can go into those hands. And when it comes to external powers, they are also funding it directly or indirectly. So they are good with money. Like this one, can I say that they are
Do you
good?
see cryptocurrency or digital wallets being used?
Yeah. This is the way. Even in 2024, they were using all of these digital currencies already. And when it comes to ISKP or ISIS, so they are far ahead of even these digital currencies. They have many other ways of getting the money out of one country or into another, and they are very, it's not like a problem for them to do the transactions or move huge amount of money. They do the smaller transactions so they don't get flagged.
In terms of funding and support, I want your opinion on Pakistani state claiming that India is behind this resurgence and they're supporting TTP. They're also supporting the Afghan government. What is your opinion on that?
I think it should not be a surprise that if India is funding them. The very first, I think, the second day when the Taliban took over, India was the first country. I think the second country maybe, or the first that they closed their embassies and their consulates in Afghanistan, and some of their diplomats were even attacked in Afghanistan. But they started their embassy. They are having very good relations, and when we speak to our Ministry of Foreign Affairs, also they say that this is their independent decisions that with whom they are going to make good relations as countries, independent countries. But when it comes to terror financing, Pakistan has given, I think, tangible evidences submitted in United Nations Security Council also that India is funding DLA or TTP directly or indirectly in Afghanistan through Afghan Taliban's proxies even. There are so many groups that now coming into Afghanistan also. In last 1 week when we were covering the Badakhshan crisis, so many groups came out there, NRF, Sipai Mahidin, and like different types of groups are now emerging from Afghanistan. And the United Nations has also written in its report multiple times that it's not BLA and TCP and ISKP. There are other militant, smaller and larger militant outfits that are operating in Afghanistan, and they are using that soil to fund or support the operation in different countries. So if the people are not taking Pakistan's word, and if they think that Pakistan is biased, mentioning India, they can read the United Nations report also that they are getting indirect funding. And indirect funding comes from where? It will be from your enemies. And I think India is going for the cheaper option because they can spend less money and create more damage via these all non-state actors.
Kiran Bhatt, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Zaki.